like to welcome to the stage now Joanna Rotte. She's a theater artist. Last year, Joanna moved from Philadelphia to a peaceful place in the Hudson Valley. For the previous 33 years, she was in Greater Philadelphia, where she directed, performed, produced, wrote about theater. Her home base was Villanova University, where as a member of the graduate theater faculty, she taught aspiring young actors how to be truthful on stage. Please welcome Joanna.
Good evening, dear friends, gentle audience. So my task was not to write a song, but to write a monologue for one of our honorees. And the process for me was both a revelation and rewarding. Rewarding because it meant over myriad hours coming together with a stranger who turned into a sister. And a revelation because I discovered that I could not bring my usual mind of, now how can I fit this new person into my life? Or not, who is this person for me? But through the listening, it was a process of, who is this person in terms of this person? So the honoree who I had the honor to work with is Barbara Sarah. I discovered through our meetups and listening that Barbara Sarah is a reflective human being, and reflections became the basis of the monologue. The other interesting aspect about my work with the honorees is that they will present their monologues. I will not be doing it for them. So I want to say that Barbara's reflections that she will deliver here are about a woman who has built a lifetime of leadership in creating caring communities. Barbara, in fact, is so remarkable a woman that it takes two women's names to name her. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Barbara Sarah.
That's me, the little girl in the matching plaid hat and coat made by her grandpa, Zadie Nathan. I'm in an army jeep with another girl. We're being driven by a soldier to a big stage set up in the center of Hartford, Connecticut. We'll sing songs to raise money for war bonds. It's 1944, and I've heard that children are starving in Europe. That's me singing my heart out to the grown-up community. Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Then my family moved to California, where my mother thought I could be a star. That's me in Brooklyn, a year later at PS 161, the only kid who didn't have two parents because we'd left my father in California. But when my mother was able to enroll me in a girls' camp for underprivileged Jewish kids, I found myself in community. I was 13. I wanted to be out of my mother's house. I wanted to be something bigger than me, sharing friendship, sharing work, and singing camp songs. That's me, a shiny young virgin who lied about her age to get a counselor job at Surprise Lake Camp. There I met Alan Schwartz, the good-looking camp bugler, and I chose him. We wandered down the road to a little roadside cafe and listened to Nat King Cole singing Unforgettable. In 2 years, we were married, both of us just 19. 3 daughters were born, Nancy, Erica, and Jennifer, gifts of a marriage that lasted 24 years. That's me, age 34, in cap and gown, graduating with a master's degree from Yeshiva University, ready to fulfill the position of school social worker for 20 years in the Great Neck Public Schools. That's me, age 55, walking out of the office of a breast surgeon with a diagnosis of breast cancer. I looked around the plush waiting room where everyone was in her own thoughts, and I felt very alone. I wanted someone to catch me, to hold me and tell me everything was going to be okay. Outside in the street, I didn't know where I was going to go or what I was going to say. I was shocked. And then, oh, I better pay attention here. This is serious. Where can I get information? I knew nothing about breast cancer or anyone who had it. The overwhelming question was, what do I do now? This social worker was going to have to help herself. I started doing my homework, and while doing it, I organized the group by putting an ad in the New Paltz Times, inviting anyone who wanted to learn about breast cancer to come together. I underwent 2 surgeries, one to remove a tumor, and another to remove 17 lymph nodes. Then Jean Houston, my spiritual teacher, summoned me to her home. She offered a guided imagery, closed my eyes. Sitting in a stream of light, I gradually felt the light suffusing me. I began to visualize radiation in reverse, that my breast was being irradiated from the inside out. I made a bargain with myself and decided to decline the recommended treatments of radiation and chemotherapy. Instead, taking a risk, I chose to participate in an experimental protocol to support my immune system. And I married my second husband, Marty LaForce. That's me, age 57, attired in business casual, the initiator of the breast cancer support group at Benedictine Hospital, which in no time evolved into the oncology support program for patients with all kinds of cancers and their families. I knew how alone a person feels with cancer and how uncertain. I knew uncertainty could be translated into curiosity. The situation presents itself. Do you want to suffer alone or connect with and even help others? I knew a cancer patient has to find meaning and purpose. When you're in the neighborhood of the end of your life, lying in a hospital bed, maybe at home and on hospice, if you're lucky, there will be someone you can talk to about what it's like to have things going on in your head and what it's like to be lying there. I became that someone through 20 years of visiting cancer patients. There was Moira, who called me her hero, not because I was anything special, but because when I asked, "How are you really?" she knew I really wanted to know. Truth is, Moira is my hero. She is the consummate example of how to live wholeheartedly with cancer, putting love in every crochet stitch. And then there was Carol, not fighting or denying her death, but talking about dying and asking me to wash her Christian body in the way of the Jewish tradition after death. That's me, 1 month ago, dressed in this black and white top with elephants on it. I'm leading a death cafe in the garden room of the Katona Library. We are a community listening to each other. We're sharing our fears. We understand that in our society, death is the elephant in the room. 3 of us are finding girlhood memories from the Second World War. Anne was in England with blackouts and fathers going to war. Marlise was in Munich with bombs and fathers not returning from war. I was singing my heart out on a stage in the center of Hartford, Connecticut. That's me, someday beyond tomorrow, facing my own death. It may be sudden, like that of my husband, Marty, or it may be the last event I get to supervise. I want to experience my moments of dying as fully as possible with gratitude.
So, Barbara,
That's me.
how was it to work together?
Well, this woman, she came we met we started in a bakery. She came to my home in Westchester. She came to my home in Kingston. She was just part of me for the last few months and helped me to look at how community has become, here we are. Community has become so much part of my life, and this working together. We were at an event together, and we were sitting near each other, and someone came over and said to me, "Are you sisters?" And we are.
We are. On behalf of Sage Arts, Barbara, thank you for being Barbara.